The sun is high, casting harsh shadows across the compound. I check my rifle, fingers moving smoothly over the familiar mechanic saw. Safety off, magazine in place, rounds chambered. The heat presses down on me, but it taunts nothing new. It taunts just another day under this relentless sky. I step out of the barracks and onto the gravel path leading to the perimeter fence. The ground is littered with loose rocks and scrub brush. Nothing unusual here. My boots crunch as I walk towards the gate where my partner waits. He nods when he sees me, his eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of movement. We exchange a brief report. Nothing significant so far. Just routine checks, patrols, and the occasional wildlife sighting. The wind picks up slightly, carrying with it the faint scent of salt from the distant ocean. Eton's a constant reminder that we're not alone out here. But there is no place for thoughts like that in our daily grind. We climb onto the patrol vehicle, securing ourselves inside. I start the engine and ease us forward along the winding path. The terrain is rough and unforgiving. Tires kick up dirt with each turn. We follow a set route, never deviating from it unless there is an urgent call. There are cameras mounted at strategic points, watching our backs as we move through this ever-changing landscape. The communication channel crackles to life. At patrols, report in. I respond automatically, my voice steady and clear. The static fades out momentarily before coming back with another check-in from a different team. We are part of a larger network now, each piece fitting into the machine that keeps this place running day after day. We pass by the water purification plant, a large industrial structure surrounded by pipes and tanks. It's one of the few signs of civilization out here, but even it feels temporary, like something hastily put together to meet immediate needs. The air hums with the sound of generators and machinery. There is a constant buzz that blends into the background noise. The vegetation is thick in places, creating barriers we need to navigate carefully. I keep my rifle close, eyes scanning for any signs of trouble, anything out of place or moving too quickly. There are wild creatures here, some dangerous if provoked, but they mostly leave us alone unless we intrude on their territory. As we reach the far edge of our patrol area, I notice a cluster of trees that look slightly different from the rest hint of greenery. The car is not supposed to be there according to our maps. It could mean nothing, but it is worth reporting back once Whale circled around and double-checked the perimeter. The day stretches on as we return to base for another rotation. The routine is ingrained now, no need for reminders or instructions. Part of a system that operates without question, each shift blending into the next with only minor variations in weather and wildlife sightings. Back at the barracks, I strip off my gear and leave it hanging by the door. Eton's too hot to shower right away, so I grab a ration bar from the communal stash and sit down on my cot. My partner is already asleep, his breathing steady and even. We both know we'll be up again soon, repeating this cycle until something changes or does not. The light starts fading as I finish my meal. Eton's time to hand over to the night shift. I'll take care of it while we rest, ensuring that nothing slips through their watchful eyes. The process is seamless, each transition a smooth continuation of what came before and will come again tomorrow. I lie down on my cot, pulling the thin blanket up to my chin. The distant sounds of the generators and the occasional night creature complete the soundtrack of our existence here. Sleep comes quickly, as it always does, carrying me away from this moment into the next one waiting just ahead. I don the exosuit, secure my helmet, and check the systems. Air pressure aligns with external conditions. Oxygen levels are stable. The HUD displays vital signs, environmental readings, and navigation coordinates. I verify communication channels to base and team members. Each checklist item is methodical, each step precise. The terrain outside is rugged but familiar. Rocky outcroppings, sparse vegetation, occasional wildlife tracks. Today's patrol route follows the usual path, marked by survey beacons and sensor arrays. The exosuit augments my strength, allowing me to traverse steep inclines and dense underbrush without strain. My movements are fluid, practiced. I carry a diagnostic kit for routine equipment checks and maintenance. Each station along the way requires attention, power cells recharged, data logs uploaded, hardware inspected. I work through the checklist methodically, ensuring no detail is overlooked. The exosuit's gloves handle delicate connections with ease. Its visor provides clear visibility despite the harsh light. Encounters with local fauna are infrequent, but not unwelcome. A small herbivore crosses my path, its presence a fleeting reminder of the planet's life teeming beyond human activity. I continue on without pause, resuming checks at the next station. The exosuit's sensors detect minor anomalies, slight temperature fluctuations in wiring, slight wear on structural components. These are noted and logged for further review. The patrol concludes as scheduled, returning to base with all data transmitted and equipment secured. The routine is unbroken, each day blending into the last. I strip off the exosuit, perform post-patrol maintenance tasks, then head to the barracks for rest before the next rotation begins. The heat is relentless today, a constant presence that molds my actions. I move through the dense vegetation with practiced ease, the exosuit, a second skin that adjusts to every step. The initial discomfort of each sunlit patch fades as I continue on my patrol route. Each time I pause at a checkpoint, the heat presses against me, an unyielding companion. It feels heavy and thick, yet it doesn't distract from my tasks. My eyes scan the horizon for any sign of movement, but the wildlife here is accustomed to the routine. A distant call from a bird echoes through the foliage, and I nod slightly, acknowledging its presence without pause. The humidity clings to me like a second layer of skin, but it no longer demands attention. It's simply there, part of the background that I move through effortlessly. As I continue my patrol, the heat transitions into a familiar backdrop, something I don't need to actively notice. With each passing hour, the sensation of the heat becomes less distinct, merging seamlessly with the rest of the environment. The exosuit hums softly as it regulates my temperature, and I walk on without thought. My mind is clear, focused solely on the tasks at hand. The day progresses without incident, and by evening, the heat has receded into a distant memory. It's no longer an obstacle, but simply another aspect of this world that exists alongside me, undisturbed and unnoticed. The exosuit's sensors hum as I move through the dense foliage. The rhythmic thud of my steps merges with those around me, forming a steady pulse that guides our progress. Each member adjusts to the collective tempo, minimizing disruptions and maximizing efficiency. Our movements are synchronized, like gears meshing seamlessly in a well-oiled machine. As we patrol, tasks flow from one person to another without pause. One teammate scans for signs of wildlife while another marks coordinates on the digital map. ... The air is thick with humidity, but it fades into insignificance as my focus narrows to the immediate demands of the task at hand. Our roles blur into a continuous stream of action and response. We navigate through treacherous terrain effortlessly, each step calculated to maintain cohesion. Distinctions between individuals dissolve into fluid motions that support the larger objective. The exosuits ensure our movements remain in harmony, even as visibility is limited by dense undergrowth. As we approach designated checkpoints, transitions are smooth. One group shifts responsibilities while another takes over seamlessly. There is no need for explicit communication. Protocols dictate our actions with precision. We move through a series of predetermined sequences without hesitation or deviation. The day progresses in this manner, each hour blending into the next. The heat becomes a constant backdrop, no longer demanding attention. Our routines are ingrained, and every member operates as interchangeable parts within the larger system. There is an underlying sense that our roles could be filled by any of us, at any moment without loss of efficiency. By evening, we conclude another cycle of tasks with precision and reliability. The collective effort feels seamless, the individual contributions melding into a cohesive whole. As darkness falls, our exosuits provide comfort and security in the encroaching night. Tomorrow's routine waits, familiar yet unyielding. The exosuit's sensors hum softly, a constant rhythm that matches the steady beat of my heart. The vegetation around me blurs into a green haze as I move through the dense forest with practiced ease. Each step is calculated, each handhold familiar from countless patrols before this one. My colleagues are nearby, their forms indistinguishable in the monotonous routine we share. We move in unison, our movements synchronized like clockwork gears, meshing seamlessly. The heat and humidity are no longer intrusive. They simply exist as part of the backdrop, a constant companion rather than an obstacle. The Daya's tasks unfold predictably, monitoring sensor readings, checking for signs of wildlife activity, and maintaining perimeter security. Each task is executed with precision, my mind focused solely on the immediate details. There is no room for distraction or deviation. Every action is part of a well-oiled machine. As the sun begins its descent, casting long shadows through the trees, I feel a sense of satisfaction in the day's accomplishments. The exosuit's energy levels remain stable, and my mental state remains calm and centered. There is no need for concern or contemplation. Everything feels as it should be. My gaze drifts across the dense foliage one last time before I turn to head back towards base. The path ahead is clear, familiar, and reassuringly routine. With each step, I feel a deep sense of contentment in this moment, knowing that tomorrow will bring another day of purposeful work. The environment here demands strict adherence to protocol. Each task is executed with precision, minimizing waste and maximizing efficiency. The heat and humidity are constants that we adapt to rather than combat. They become part of the backdrop against which our operations unfold. Every patrol follows a rigid schedule, ensuring no moment goes unaccounted for, reducing risk and increasing stability. The exosuit enhances my capabilities, allowing me to traverse difficult terrain without strain. This is not about personal comfort, but about maintaining operational readiness. The system we are part of requires us to be vigilant and disciplined, ensuring that every resource is utilized effectively. There's no room for deviation or inefficiency. Each step must align with the broader goals. The wildlife we encounter is a reminder of the environmental's raw power, which we respect and manage through our methods. Our presence here is not arbitrary but necessary to secure resources crucial to sustaining operations else. Every action we take is part of a larger framework designed to ensure survival and progress. Harshness in conditions and strict routines are operational necessities, not preferences. They allow us to function optimally amidst the challenges presented by this world. There's no sentimentality involved. Eton's about practicality and efficiency. This works because it has to. The daily throughput of materials processed aligns precisely with the predetermined efficiency targets. Each unit extracted represents a step closer to achieving our operational goals. The machinery hums steadily, converting raw terrain into usable resources at an optimal rate. Discomfort during the process is irrelevant. It merely serves as a reminder to adjust protocols for improved performance. Quantifying the yield from each operation strips away the visceral reactions to labor and hardship. Every ton of ore or cubic meter of fuel harvested can be plotted on graphs, analyzed for trends, and optimized further. The numbers tell the story of our progress, not individual experiences. Pain is a variable that needs calibration, discomfort an indicator of inefficiency to be addressed through methodical adjustments. The extraction system operates within predefined parameters designed to minimize waste and maximize output while respecting environmental constraints. Loss margins are kept at tolerable levels, ensuring sustained operations without compromising the overall balance of the ecosystem. This balance is not merely a precaution, but a necessity for long-term viability. Nature, in this context, is an interconnected network of resources to be managed rather than a fragile entity to be revered. The terrain's resistance to extraction is quantified and mitigated through advanced engineering solutions. Every setback is analyzed for its contribution to the larger dataset, allowing for continuous improvement and optimization. Decisions are made with clarity, focusing on metrics and projections that drive efficiency. Personal narratives dissolve into data points, each contributing to a broader narrative of sustainable resource management. The environment's resilience is treated as an operational variable, adapting extraction methods to maintain equilibrium without depleting essential resources. In this framework, the rawness of nature is reduced to manageable parameters, allowing for systematic and rational engagement with the planet's resources. This approach ensures that every action serves a greater purpose, aligning individual effort with collective objectives. Through disciplined adherence to protocol, discomfort is minimized and efficiency is maximized, ensuring the sustainability of our operations in this challenging environment. The sensory motif intensifies, the ground beneath me shifting with each step. It's not discomfort, Eton's data. Each grain of sand under my boots is a reminder of the terrain's hostility, but also its necessity. The air is thick and heavy, moisture clinging to every breath like an unwelcome companion. Yet, I know that humidity means productivity. Every drop translates into another unit of progress. My body adjusts, muscles tensing in familiar patterns as I push through the fatigue. Eton's not pain, it's efficiency. Every ache serves a purpose, signaling where improvements can be made to my routine. The sun beats down with relentless intensity, but it dawns not scorching. Et's illuminating. Each ray is an indicator of resource availability, guiding me towards more optimal paths. The wind carries the scent of distant storms, a reminder that nature remains unpredictable. But this unpredictability is also data or information to be processed and accounted for in my calculations. The more turbulent the weather, the clearer the signals from the environment become. This is where I find my focus, sharpening my resolve with every gust. I move methodically, each action measured and deliberate. The strain is not a burden, Et's feedback. Every fiber of my being responds to the challenge, pushing back against fatigue like an intricate dance between body and mind. Each breath, each step, each bead of sweat falls as if choreographed by necessity itself. As I continue, the terrain becomes even more rugged. Rocks protruding from the earth, sharp edges demanding careful navigation. But these obstacles are not deterrents. Clear pathways. They force me to adapt, recalibrate, and optimize my movements. The resistance is not a hindrance. Et's validation that the system is functioning as intended. The environment presses in around me, relentless but predictable. Each sensation, each challenge, confirms that I am where I need to be. This is not suffering. Eton's progress. Every moment of strain reinforces the logic of my mission, ensuring that every ounce of effort contributes to a greater good. The harshness of nature is merely another layer of protocol and data points, waiting to be analyzed and integrated into the system. I move forward without hesitation, my steps steady despite the increasing load. Eton's not about endurance. Et's about efficiency. Each step is a calculation, each breath an optimization. This is how it should be. The environment confirms that I am where I only am supposed to be, doing what needs to be done. As I move through the terrain, my mind remains vigilant. Every step is a calculation, every breath an adjustment to maintain optimal function. Efficiency is paramount, and any deviation from this path risks disrupting our larger objectives. There was a momentary pause as I consider the harshness of the environmenta, a fleeting thought that perhaps it could be more bearable if we were less strict. But immediately, this doubt feels misplaced. The protocols are not oppressive. They are necessary. Our mission is to extract resources sustainably and efficiently, ensuring long-term viability for our operations. Every discomfort, every challenge is data that guides us toward refinement and improvement. To hesitate is to undermine the very foundation of our work. I correct myself internally. This is not about personal comfort, but about systemic integrity. The environment is what it is, a variable in a complex equation. My role is to manage this variable with precision, ensuring every action contributes directly to our goals. Any deviation from protocol is an inefficiency, a waste of energy and resources. To question the necessity of our methods is to jeopardize the entire framework. I reaffirm my commitment. Guide. This is about maturity, not obedience. Understanding and adhering to the protocols ensures we achieve what is essential. Every discomfort I feel is simply feedback for optimization. The environment challenges me, but it also strengthens us collectively. By embracing this rigor, I am part of something greater, a system that sustains itself through disciplined adherence. Continuing on, each step reaffirms my resolve. This is not about personal sacrifice. It's about operational necessity. Every discomfort is a variable to be managed, every challenge an opportunity for refinement. The clarity and purpose are unwavering. The terrain around me shifts constantly, each contour and crevice a testament to the relentless forces of nature. Yet, it is precisely this unpredictability that drives my adherence to protocol. Every deviation from established procedures risks instability, jeopardizing our mission's efficiency and sustainability. I move with calculated precision. Every step a deliberate calculation aimed at minimizing energy expenditure while maximizing progress. The environment may be harsh, but it is predictable within the framework of our system. Each challenge encountered is merely an opportunity for refinement, a chance to optimize my response mechanisms further. Fatigue sets in, but I do not falter. Instead, I recognize it as data feedback, indicating areas needing adjustment. Sleep cycles are regulated with military precision, and nutrition intake is meticulously monitored. Every aspect of my existence serves the greater purpose, transforming personal discomfort into systemic optimization. The logic underpinning our work ensures that every action has a rationale, every sacrifice a necessity. There is no room for emotional attachment or moral questioning. These are inefficiencies to be discarded in favor of clarity and focus. The system is not perfect, but it is functional, designed to endure through the harshest conditions. In this unyielding landscape, my resolve solidifies. Every breath, every heartbeat serves a purpose, fueling the relentless machinery of progress. Challenges are no longer obstacles but catalysts for improvement, reinforcing the necessity of our mission and the correctness of our methods. The environment presses in around me, confirming the need for vigilance and discipline. Yet, within this framework, I find stability, a quiet confidence that my actions align with the requirements of our system. The rigidity of protocol provides a foundation upon which to build resilience, transforming adversity into validation of our approach. In this final moment, clarity reigns supreme being. Correct replaces any lingering doubts or uncertainties. The system stands firm, its logic irrefutable, and I am an integral part of it, my role clearly defined and unshakable. I recalibrate the environmental scanner to account for the sudden shift in humidity levels. The data overlay flickers momentarily before stabilizing, confirming that the protocol adjustments are necessary but requiring additional processing time. Each step feels slightly more cumbersome than usual. There are a delay in the system response that demands greater attention. The terrain is proving increasingly unpredictable, with unexpected patches of unstable ground and sudden shifts in wind direction. I adjust my route to mitigate these risks, incorporating new data points into my navigation algorithms. The process is methodical, but now requires multiple recalculations to ensure optimal pacing. Each deviation from the original plan feels like an extra layer of complexity that must be managed. The physical strain begins to manifest more noticeably. The air is thicker and harder to breathe, making each breath a conscious effort. My body's need for hydration increases, prompting me to increase water intake despite the logistical challenge of carrying additional supplies. The weight distribution on my pack feels off, requiring periodic adjustments to maintain balance and prevent fatigue. The environmental feedback no longer abstracts neatly into actionable data. There are now discrepancies that need closer examination. A slight temperature drop necessitates an immediate review of insulation protocols, ensuring I remain within safe thermal parameters. Despite the minor inconvenience, the system remains robust, but demands more constant oversight. As I proceed, I notice a growing frequency of small malfunctions. The solar panel efficiency dips slightly, and the communication module intermittently drops signal strength. These require immediate attention to prevent cascading issues further down the line. Each corrective action feels like an extra step in an already intricate process, yet it is essential for maintaining operational integrity. Despite these challenges, I remain resolute, adhering strictly to the protocols that have served me well thus far. The sense of duty remains unshaken. Each adjustment and recalibration reinforces my commitment to the mission's logic. The friction between efficiency and reality becomes a subtle but persistent presence, demanding greater vigilance and effort. The environment presses in, confirming the necessity of continuous adaptation. Every strain on my body is now seen as feedback for improvement, guiding me through the complexities with unwavering focus. The system functions, yet it no longer flows seamlessly. Each action requires careful consideration and recalibration to maintain the delicate balance necessary for success. I've been monitoring the oxygen levels in the habitat for hours now. The readings show that everything is within acceptable limits, but there's an odd discrepancy when I step outside to check the physical sensors. They're all calibrated correctly, yet the variance between my console reports and what the sensors indicate keeps growing. It tones as if the system is compensating for something I can't measure. The projections from our model suggest a steady state, but reality feels like it's shifting beneath me. The air quality reports are clear, yet there's an underlying discomfort that does not align with the data. My mask shows no signs of malfunction, but every breath seems to carry a slight impurity, something just outside the detection range. I've recalibrated manually, checked for contamination, and even rerun diagnostics from the central hub. The numbers stay consistent on paper, yet there's an unease that persists. It tones like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. No matter how precisely I adjust, it does not sit right. The living systems here are supposed to adapt seamlessly, but there are moments when the feedback loop feels broken. Plants are growing faster in some areas than they should based on light and nutrient levels. Water tables fluctuate more unpredictably, even though our irrigation models predict stability. It tones as if the environment is alive with its own unpredictable rhythms that my systems can't fully capture. I've been adjusting protocols accordingly, but it feels like I'm chasing a shadow. Every time I think I have everything under control, something else shifts, requiring another readjustment. The maps and charts are becoming less reliable guides to what's actually happening on the ground. Eton's not that the Andre are wrong, more that they lack nuance. The physical presence of the habitat feels inconsistent with my readings. There is a disconnect between the data I trust and what my senses tell me is true. Eton's frustrating, but also intriguing a reminder that there are layers to reality that are not fully captured by our models yet. I'll keep refining, tweaking, and observing, but it's becoming clear that the map doesn't always match the terrain. The air feels different today, more heavy and oppressive. I can sense the humidity clinging to my skin, making each breath a conscious effort. Eton's not just discomfort. There's an underlying tension that seems to seep into everything. The machinery around me hums with a persistent whine, a low-frequency vibration that resonates through my bones whenever I move. Every shift in position triggers a cascade of clicks and clatters from the systems monitoring our environment. I recalibrate the sensors once more, running diagnostics to pinpoint any anomalies. Yet, each attempt reveals only minor deviations, nothing substantial enough to explain this pervasive unease. The data does not lie, but it feels incomplete, like pieces of a puzzle that refuse to fit together perfectly. My eyes trace the intricate web of cables and conduits crisscrossing the ceiling, following their paths as they connect to various modules and stations below. Each intersection is a node of activity, each line a carrier of vital information. And yet, despite my efforts to maintain order, there's an undeniable sense that something crucial is missing. The ambient noise grows more insistent, but not in a way that demands immediate action. It's like a constant undercurrent of static, whispering at the edges of perception. I try to focus on the task at hand, a routine check of environmental parameters, but my thoughts keep drifting back to this unsettling hum. My fingers move deftly over the control panels, adjusting settings and verifying readings. The feedback is consistent with what I've seen before, but the nagging sensation persists. It tones as if the environment itself has a mind, subtly altering our reality in ways that are hard to quantify. I take a moment to steady myself, breathing deeply to center my focus. The air tastes metallic when I inhale, a faint tang that lingers on my tongue. My heart rate picks up slightly, not from fear or urgency, but from the sheer effort of maintaining composure. Sensors report back with reassuring accuracy, yet there are an underlying discordance in their data streams. It sounds like trying to navigate through a dense fog where every landmark is blurred and indistinct. I cannot shake the feeling that I am not missing something fundamental, some subtle pattern or anomaly that would bring clarity but remains just out of reach. As I proceed with my routine tasks, this background noise continues to intrude, persistent yet elusive. Ita is not a threat, nor is it a malfunction. Ita is simply there, an unwelcome presence that challenges the boundaries of what I can perceive and understand. I recalibrate once more, double-checking every parameter. It's a routine I've honed through countless iterations, yet today each step feels heavy with uncertainty. The data aligns perfectly on the surface, but beneath that facade lies an unsettling anomaly. Each time I verify, the numbers should match, yet there's this persistent whisper of something off. Humidity clings to me like a second skin. Every breath, a reminder of the oppressive atmosphere. The machinery hums and clicks around me, each sound a stark contrast to the silence I crave. My hands move methodically, adjusting settings, recalculating variables. But no matter how precise my movements, this nagging doubt refuses to dissipate. I remind myself that these discrepancies are simply fluctuations, expected variations within acceptable margins. It's a mantra I repeat to myself, a reassurance that the system is resilient and adaptable. Yet as I speak it aloud in my mind, even I can hear the hesitation, the faint echo of questions unasked. The ambient noise grows louder, intrusive, each clatter echoing through my senses. The metallic taste lingers on my tongue, an unwelcome companion to this ritual of recalibration. Every breath is deliberate, a conscious effort to maintain focus amidst the cacophony. I tell myself again that these are minor issues, manageable with diligent oversight. The data feedback loops back smoothly, confirming compliance, but there's this gnawing sensation that something isn't quite right. It taunts as if every adjustment is chasing an elusive shadow, never fully catching up. Each recalibration feels like a step forward and two steps back, the frustration mounting with each failed attempt to resolve the discrepancies. I force myself to re-examine the protocols, to review the established logic behind every decision. The system should be foolproof, yet here I am, questioning its fundamental reliability. It taunts disconcerting, but I know better than to doubt the protocol outright. Instead, I find solace in the repetition of familiar reasoning, paternarza, each iteration, a reassurance that I'm not alone in this struggle. The environment remains stubbornly unpredictable, defying my attempts at control. Yet I persist, driven by duty and an unyielding commitment to maintaining function. Despite the discomfort and tension, I cling to the belief that with each recalibration, I inch closer to understanding the underlying issues. The repetition of key operational phrases becomes a mantra, a shield against the mounting unease. As I delve deeper into this meticulous process, the nagging doubt continues to whisper at the edges of my consciousness. But I push it aside, focusing on the tangible tasks at hand. Each recalibration is an act of faith in the system's resilience, a reaffirmation that with careful attention and adherence to protocol, order will be restored. The ambient noise and metallic taste heighten my awareness of every minor deviation. Yet I press on, driven by the knowledge that these challenges are surmountable with diligent effort. Despite the frustration and tension, I remain resolute, determined to maintain function in this ever-shifting environment. The air feels thick, almost tangible, as I navigate the labyrinth of machinery. Each breath draws in a metallic tang that leaves an unpleasant residue on my tongue. The constant hum and clatter of systems blend into an oppressive background noise, making it hard to concentrate fully on any single task. Despite this, I push forward, driven by a sense of duty and the belief that order can be restored through meticulous recalibration. I stand before another set of instruments, their readouts flickering with anomalies. The data does not align as it should. There runs a persistent discrepancy that defies explanation. Each attempt to correct it feels like chasing shadows, leaving me frustrated but undeterred. I adjust the settings meticulously, observing closely for any signs of improvement, yet nothing changes significantly. It taunts as if the system itself is subtly shifting beneath my fingertips. The physical strain adds another layer of discomfort. My muscles ache from constant vigilance, and each step feels deliberate, weighted by the weight of uncertainty. Despite this, I persist, driven by a sense that something crucial lies just beyond reach. The environment's unpredictability challenges my reliance on established protocols, but I hold fast to them as a lifeline in turbulent waters. The ambient noise intensifies, blending with the metallic taste and oppressive humidity. It becomes harder to ignore these sensory inputs, which only heighten my awareness of the underlying discordance. Despite consistent data feedback, there remains an unsettling sensation that something critical is missing or subtly altered. Each adjustment fails to fully resolve the inconsistencies, leaving me anxious about missing some fundamental insight. I pause momentarily, assessing the situation with renewed focus. The system holds together through sheer effort, but it requires constant attention. There is no room for complacency. Any lapse could unravel the fragile balance I have maintained. Despite frustration and fatigue, a sense of resolve keeps me moving forward. I recalibrate once more, observing closely as the readouts flicker and adjust. For now, everything appears stable, but the stability is conditional, dependent on my unwavering vigilance. The oppressive atmosphere and sensory overload continue to challenge my composure. Yet I push through with a sense of duty and commitment. Despite the growing unease, I remain resolute in my efforts, driven by faith in the system's resilience and the belief that understanding will emerge through diligent effort. The hum and clatter persist as I move on to the next set of instruments, each one demanding meticulous attention. The environmental's unpredictability demands heightened awareness, yet there is no room for doubt or hesitation. Each task is a battle against lingering anomalies, but I push forward with renewed determination. Despite the persistent discomfort and fatigue, I maintain my focus, driven by a sense that stability, though tenuous, can be maintained through constant vigilance. Nothing breaks yet, but nothing rests anymore. The persistent discrepancies between expected data and actual observations begin to manifest visibly in the environment. Machinery that once hummed smoothly now emits a constant, unsettling whine, while clattering systems require frequent recalibration. The air is thick with humidity, making each breath heavy and labored. Despite meticulous adjustments, the operational stability remains fragile, like a delicate balance teetering on the edge of collapse. The metallic taste in my mouth grows stronger, mingling with the acrid scent of overheating machinery. Humidity clings to every surface, exacerbating the oppressive atmosphere. Each recalibration feels like an act of sheer will, pushing back against an encroaching chaos that seems to mock my efforts. The hum of systems becomes a relentless drone, punctuated by sudden jolts and mechanical failures. Visible wear on equipment is becoming more pronounced. Parts that were once smooth and precise now show signs of strain, with metal surfaces scratched and worn down. Components that used to function seamlessly now require constant maintenance and replacement. Despite my best efforts, the cumulative effect of persistent anomalies is evident in the physical degradation around me. The ambient noise reaches a crescendo, making it difficult to concentrate on routine tasks. Every attempt at recalibration feels like a Sisyphean labor, with each solution bringing only temporary relief before another issue arises. The metallic taste in my mouth becomes more pervasive, heightening my awareness of the underlying discordance. The oppressive atmosphere is no longer just an abstract discomfort. It manifests as tangible signs of decline. Despite this, I continue to press on, driven by a sense of duty and commitment. Each recalibration is a meticulous battle against an encroaching disorder, with outcomes visible beyond mere metrics. The stability achieved is conditional and fragile, demanding continuous focus and resilience amidst growing unease and sensory overload. The air conditioning unit hums a low, steady tune as I work through the checklist, each item ticked off methodically. The environment here remains oppressive. Every breath feels thick and weighted with unseen dust particles that cling to my tongue like sandpaper. My movements are deliberate, almost robotic in their precision, though they offer little comfort against the growing unease. A flicker of light catches my eye out, a warning signal from one of the control panels. I move towards it without hesitation, fingers deftly tracing over buttons and switches. The system displays an error code, another malfunction to be addressed before it spirals into something more catastrophic. My hands work efficiently, plugging in new circuits, rerouting power lines, mechanical tasks that should provide a sense of order, but instead feel like band-aids on deep wounds. The metallic taste lingers as I swallow hard, the acrid scent of burning wires mixing with the lingering smell of ozone. Each malfunction adds another layer to this intricate puzzle, each fix bringing temporary relief at best. The environment around me seems to shift subtly, a mechanical dance that mirrors my own internal struggle. I move on to the next task, the list growing shorter, but the weight of responsibility not diminishing. A small console near the door flashes red. I approach it cautiously, knowing what lies ahead. Diagnostic tools reveal another issue, a component overheating and failing to regulate temperature properly. Each on's a simple fix, yet each step feels like wading through quicksand. The air is thick with tension as I work, fingers moving with practiced precision. Each connection made, each wire secured brings the faintest sense of accomplishment. Yet Eton's fleeting. Another warning light signals an impending failure elsewhere in the system. The cycle repeats itself, a relentless drumbeat that defines my existence here. Hours blend together, marked only by the progression of tasks completed and new challenges identified. The environment remains unyielding, its demands constant and merciless. I move through this world with a sense of inevitability, each action dictated not by choice but necessity. Stopping is not an option. Continuation feels like the only viable path forward. As night falls, shadows stretch long across the room, the air growing cooler in contrast to my heated state. The work continues without pause, driven by duty and commitment rather than any emotional catharsis or moral awakening. Each recalibration is a battle against chaos, fought with methodical precision and unwavering resolve. The air is thick with the acrid scent of burning circuits and metallic dust. Each breath I take feels weighted, as though the atmosphere itself resists my inhaling. The room around me hums with a mechanical undertone, a constant reminder of the systems that dictate every action. My fingers move over the controls with practiced precision, each input met with the expected response: a brief flicker of light or a slight hum from distant machinery. Despite the efficiency of these interactions, there is an underlying sense of futility. Each adjustment I make is like treading water against a rising tide. It keeps me afloat momentarily, but does little to stem the flow. The environment presses in on me, relentless and unyielding. Every malfunction is noted with mechanical detachment, another tick on the list of tasks that must be addressed. The metallic taste lingers on my tongue, an unwelcome companion that reminds me of the discordant reality I inhabit. My body moves through the motions required by duty, but there is a growing acknowledgement of the limits of control. Each time a system fails or malfunctions, it feels less like a challenge to be overcome and more like an inevitability that cannot be altered. The weight of responsibility is oppressive, yet diffuse. It does not originate from any singular source, but rather pervades every aspect of existence here. Adjusting one system triggers another chain reaction, demanding constant attention and recalibration. The cycle is endless, a perpetual state of maintenance without the possibility of resolution. I am aware of the damage but find no leverage to alter its course. The recognition comes without emotion or self-blame. Ita is simply an observation of reality. My actions are procedural, dictated by necessity rather than any hope for change. Each task completed is merely a temporary pause in the inevitable progression toward disorder. The environment absorbs my individual agency, reducing me to a cog in a larger machine. Adjustments occur at scale, driven by systemic demands rather than personal choice. The sense of inevitability is overwhelming, yet I continue because stopping is not an option. The environment hums with a steady, relentless rhythm that demands my attention. Each day blends into the next without distinction, and my actions become mechanical routines dictated by necessity rather than choice. The metallic taste in my mouth and the acrid scent in the air are constant companions, reminders of the discordant reality I inhabit. I begin each morning with a series of routine checks, moving through tasks that have become second nature. The machinery responds predictably to my commands, but there is an underlying tension as malfunctions crop up unexpectedly. Each malfunction requires immediate attention and recalibration, yet no matter how precise or diligent I am, the solutions only offer temporary relief. The system operates in a feedback loop where every repair introduces new variables that need addressing. It's not that these corrections are ineffective. Rather, they create an intricate web of dependencies that become increasingly complex with each iteration. The pressure to maintain stability is relentless, and any deviation from this path results in cascading failures that require even more effort to mitigate. As I navigate through the day, my movements feel mechanical, yet futile. Each task I complete leaves me exhausted, but no closer to a sense of resolution. There is an oppressive weight of responsibility that drags at me, making it difficult to escape the cycle of maintenance and repair. The environment is indifferent to my efforts. It merely demands more. The procedural incentives are clear. Continue or face the consequences of collapse. Any attempt to correct underlying issues only adds layers of complexity without significantly reducing harm. Stability in this system aligns with continuation rather than radical change, making alternatives feel like theoretical impossibilities. I move through the day, performing tasks with practiced efficiency, but the sense of futility persists. The metallic taste and acrid scent remain constant reminders of the discordant reality I inhabit. Despite my efforts to maintain order, control feels increasingly illusory. Each breath is heavy, mirroring the weight of responsibilities that cannot be escaped. The system moves forward through momentum, rather than decision, and my actions are but a part of this ongoing process. The metallic taste lingers in my mouth as I navigate through the labyrinthine corridors, each step heavier than the last. The acrid scent clings to me, a constant reminder of the pervasive decay that surrounds us. Systems malfunction with increasing frequency, and every repair feels like an uphill battle against an indifferent force. I adjust another faulty component, the familiar click and whir signaling temporary stability. Yet, as soon as I move on, the hum begins again, louder and more urgent. My hands tremble slightly, but there's no time to dwell on Ita. There are too many other things demanding attention. The weight of responsibility drags at me, a relentless gravitational pull that leaves little room for anything else. The environment is my constant companion now, its mechanical rhythms mirroring the steady drumbeat of inevitability. Each day merges into the next without distinction, and I find myself moving through tasks, not out of hope or purpose, but from sheer necessity. The oppressive atmosphere has seeped into every corner of this place, leaving me feeling trapped in a cycle that offers no escape. I continue my rounds, performing each task with practiced precision. Each recalibration is a ritual, an act of defiance against the encroaching chaos. Yet, despite my efforts, the malfunctions persist, their frequency and intensity growing with each passing day. The metallic taste and acrid scent have become permanent fixtures, part of the landscape I inhabit. The environment remains indifferent to my struggles, its demands relentless, yet unsatisfyingly unyielding. Every breath feels heavy, a physical manifestation of the burden that weighs upon me. My movements are mechanical, devoid of emotion or hope, driven by an ingrained sense of duty that no longer offers solace. The oppressive atmosphere is normalized now, a fact of life I must accept and manage. As I move through this endless cycle of repair and malfunction, there's a pervasive sense of acceptance. This is how things are now. The air is thick with a metallic taste and acrid scent that have become familiar companions. Each breath feels heavy, carrying the weight of countless tasks yet to be completed. I move through the space with practiced efficiency, my motions mechanical as I address one malfunction after another. The environment demands constant attention, each day blending into the next without any distinction or reprieve. The machines hum and whir around me, their rhythms a backdrop to the relentless cycle of repair and maintenance. Every panel I open, every cable I reconnect, offers only temporary relief before another issue arises. Etons, as if the system itself is breathing unevenly, its pulse erratic despite my best efforts to stabilize it. I perform each task with detachment, my actions driven by necessity rather than any lingering hope for change. There is no emotional connection left in these routines. They are simply the means of survival within this altered terrain. The oppressive weight of responsibility drags at me, but I continue out of duty and habit, not from a sense of purpose or resolve. The environment remains indifferent to my efforts, its demands unyielding despite my weariness. Each day feels like an echo of the last, with no breakthroughs or moments of respite. The cycle continues without end, each failure leading seamlessly into another attempt at repair. I am not trapped, but operating within the confines of this reality. My movements are procedural, my thoughts narrow and focused on immediate needs rather than distant goals. There is no room for reflection here. Only action and reaction in a continuous loop of maintenance. The metallic taste and acrid scent linger, constant reminders of the discordant world I inhabit. Despite the oppressive atmosphere, there are an acceptance of this condition, a resignation to the inevitability of ongoing challenges without any sense of escape or relief. I wake up in the same sterile room, my eyes adjusting to the dim light. Another day starts without a thought or feeling attached. I stand and move through the familiar routine, brushing teeth with a worn toothbrush, splashing water on my face from a cracked basin. The mirror shows no reflection of self, just a blankness. Dressing in clothes that hang loosely on my frame, I leave for the maintenance bay. Eton's always cold here, air conditioning maintaining an unyielding chill. Machines hum and lights flicker as if questioning their purpose, but not daring to stop. My tools are waiting: gar wrenches, screwdrivers, a soldering iron. Each tool has its place, each task its time. The first issue is the overheating circuit breaker. I open it carefully, removing the damaged wires, then replace them with spares from my kit. The breaker clicks back into place without complaint. Moving to the next station, there are a malfunction in the air filtration system. Dust and grime are visible through its mesh, clogging the intake. I clean and repair, replacing filters that have long since ceased their function. Hours pass without distinction. Each fix is temporary. Another part will fail eventually. The cycle repeats. Identify problem, assess damage, implement solution. There is no sense of accomplishment in these tasks. They are simply what must be done to keep the system running. I move from station to station, my body a mechanical entity executing programmed actions. Lunch comes as it always does, a bland meal served on a tray with a utensil set. Eating is a necessity, not an enjoyment. The food has no taste. My mouth moves mechanically, swallowing bites without pause or pleasure. Returning to the maintenance bay after lunch, more work awaits. A malfunctioning data storage unit needs repair. I open it up, replacing faulty components and ensuring backups are operational. Data loss is unacceptable, so each step must be precise. The system's reliance on these repairs is absolute but unfeeling. The day winds down, as it always does. Evening falls with the same predictability of dawn. I return to my room for rest, knowing tomorrow will bring more of the same. My mind holds no plans or dreams. There are only tasks and routines. Survival is not a goal. It's just what happens next. I wake up, my body moving through the familiar motions without thought. The room is cold and dimly lit, the air thick with a sterile scent. I dress quickly, each action practiced and unremarkable. There is no need for warmth or comfort. There is only what needs to be done. The day starts like every other. Check systems, report anomalies, repair damage. The tasks are repetitive, mechanical. I move from one station to another, my hands moving with precision, but without feeling. Each component is a puzzle piece that fits into place perfectly, yet it offers no satisfaction beyond the completion of the task itself. The environment here is stark and unforgiving. Walls stretch endlessly in all directions, their surfaces cold and unyielding under my touch. The machinery hums softly, a constant reminder of the ongoing cycle. I move through the space with purpose, but there is no sense of achievement or pride, only the need to keep functioning. I spend hours at the workbench examining circuits and replacing parts. Each repair is like stitching a wound closed temporarily. offering only momentary relief before another issue arises. The problems are relentless, each one demanding immediate attention. I address them without hesitation, my mind focused solely on what needs fixing right now. There is no room for distractions or daydreaming here. My thoughts remain confined to the task at hand, never venturing beyond the present moment. Large-scale concerns exist only as a distant hum in the background, mere echoes of something far removed from this immediate reality. When I am done with repairs, there is no sense of accomplishment or relief. It is simply another part of the day completed. I move on to monitoring systems, watching for signs of failure. The screens before me display data in stark black and white, each line a potential point of trouble waiting to be addressed. The cycle continues without end. There are no breaks, no respite from this unyielding routine. Each day blends into the next, marked only by the accumulation of tasks completed and issues resolved. My existence is defined not by purpose or passion, but by necessity and survival. As night falls, I retreat to my quarters, a small space that offers little solace. The room is cold and barren, devoid of any personal touches or comfort items. Sleep comes quickly, a brief respite from the endless cycle of work. When morning arrives, I wake up, ready to face another day defined by what needs to be done. There is no hope for change here, only acceptance of this unchanging reality. The world around me is what it is, and my role within it is clear and unambiguous. Each moment matters only in its immediate context, nothing more, nothing less. The routine begins before dawn. I wake to the same hum of systems, the soft glow of screens casting faint shadows on the walls. There is no morning ritual anymore. There is only the familiar sequence of diagnostics and initial checks. Each day feels like an extension of yesterday, with tasks that are identical in their purposelessness. I navigate through the sterile corridors, my footsteps echoing off the polished surfaces. The air is cool and dry, devoid of any natural scent or warmth. There is a sense of order here, but it is not comforting. It is merely expected. I move from one station to another without pause, each task performed with practiced precision. The maintenance logs are reviewed meticulously. Each entry is scrutinized for potential issues, no matter how minor. The system updates are installed seamlessly, and the data flows through channels that have been optimized countless times before. There is a method in this madness, but it serves only to maintain functionality without any deeper significance. Breaks are rare, brief respites from the relentless cycle of duties. When they occur, I sit in silence, staring at the blank screen before me. The world outside these walls is indistinguishable from the one inside out, vast expanse of uniformity and predictability. There is no need for conversation or connection. There is only the task list waiting to be completed. Each repair offers a momentary sense of accomplishment, but it quickly fades into insignificance as another issue arises. The cycle continues without respite, each day blending into the next with an absence of distinction. There is no room for reflection or regret, only the immediacy of tasks that must be addressed. The environment is efficient in its design, replacing emotional needs with procedural ones. There is a comfort in this new order, but it is not a warm embrace, it is a cold acceptance. The sterility around me mirrors the emptiness within, leaving no space for nostalgia or longing. Instead, there is only the relentless pursuit of functionality. Tasks are completed without question, and each day ends with another cycle complete. There is an absence of self-awareness in this routine, but it serves its purpose. I move through life with a detached precision, finding solace not in what is missing, but in what remains constant. The system hums on, indifferent to the void within me, and I continue along the prescribed path without deviation or desire for change. The narrator feels detached and numb, with each day blending seamlessly into the next, in a predictable cycle devoid of emotion. While there's a cold comfort in the routine, it lacks warmth and human connection. The sterile surroundings mirror an inner emptiness, offering no room for nostalgia or longing. Tasks are completed mechanically, providing fleeting moments of accomplishment that quickly fade. There is a sense of solace in the constancy, but also resignation to this void, with no desire for change. The narrator continues to perform another routine task, wiping down surfaces meticulously despite their lack of significance. The motion is automatic,